points on the list. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming in on March 16, 2021, and we need to talk about the tax plan and the stimulus, as we've learned a lot of new things today. And I got 3 stocks that I'm looking at coming into tomorrow. But the S&P hit new all-time highs today. The reflation trade was on. We saw a lot of wild action, but we got to learn a lot more about the stimulus, when those stimulus checks are expected to hit. But we also know how it's getting paid for. You heard talks today about the Biden tax plan now. So I think this has some big implications. It's going to give us some additional stuff to watch because now you also have Powell on Wednesday. So I also have some expectations of what to expect coming into that. We hit highs, had some weird news throughout the day with some other stuff overseas with AstraZeneca. Ended up being a very, very good day. We got to see the market widen as Kathy Wood was talking about. Saw some different winners and losers today, but overall it was very, very strong, and it's positioning us here for the rest of the first half of the year. So we got a lot to talk about. I want to go over what happened in the market today, what we're looking at the rest of the week for Powell and everything else, the plays that we made today, and then what we are looking at coming into tomorrow. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes for open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the-stock-market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watchlist come to life, and yes, the random account generator is a hit, but don't get spoon-dogged, okay? None of this is a recommendation. I'm just trying to purpose only thing of day. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to chat, baby. So right off the bat, the reflation trade was a hit, and what I mean by that is the reopening trade, those hospitality stocks, airlines, all of that. We talked about it yesterday. We really saw it. It seems like things are going back to normal again. Positive vaccine news in the United States, but overall, coupled with the stimulus and everything else, the market took it very positively today and gearing up to that reopening. So it was very interesting to see. You did get more updates of when Americans should be expecting those stimulus checks. Looks like it is going to be 10 days out, so it kind of gives us a timeline as far as what to expect if we're going to see people put 50% of their checks into stocks. But the real big hit, and this is going to give us some further implications for this week and even the rest of the year, is that Biden tax plan. And I think it is a really big curveball, and I think I know why now. They didn't want any more questions. $1.9 trillion, but how is it going to get paid for? So now we kind of have an answer. Instead of spending money, it is now going to fundraising. So this could explain why the bond yields even went up. If you even saw everything happen as we got closer and closer to stimulus, that's when a lot of the bond drama started to occur. But interest rates are part of fundraising. Again, the Fed raising rates and all that. We'll talk about that. But now I expect to see a lot more headlines regarding this, or there's going to be updates. It should take about a year before anything. So it's not going to be immediate, but at the same time, a lot of discussion may change things, or we'll see. But overall, I think this runs pretty deep. So ask me about this on stream. We'll talk about it. But coming into the rest of the week, and now even Powell, the Fed meeting starts tomorrow, but you're not going to hear from him till Wednesday. I don't know why I put Monday, but the odds of him saying anything new is very low, especially now as the stimulus just got passed, and now tying this into the tax plan. It's one part tax plan, but it is tied into these future economic plans they plan to roll out. Some of these infrastructure initiatives, the budget, and all of that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Powell kind of not say anything new, as there's still some things that we need to guide into. It may even buy the Fed some time too, because any of this stuff now, it's not going to have an impact till 2022. Taxes are just right around the corner right now here in April, so any new things would be for the next year. And then now tying that into this whole situation, that is when the Fed is expected to begin hiking rates again, or at least in the middle of this drama in this last month and a half or so, those probabilities on the futures for 2022, those have shot up. So Powell really isn't going to be too important this week. We're still going to watch him. We'll see if anything changes, but in a couple more months, as we get closer to 2022, he will be more important. Now the real question is, how does anything change, or now how does the market respond to any new information like we got with the tax plan, as that relates into energy, infrastructure, education, or anything of that nature? So that's going to be the main thing to watch this week. And then finally, we saw today, we kind of discussed it yesterday. I kind of wrote it off, but it was interesting to see how we opened up today. But there was that AstraZeneca scare with their vaccine, and I think a bunch of countries, at least 10 different separate countries, all have suspended the use of it. They said that they are worried about the blood clot concern. So it looked like it had some effect today. We even put out a stream alert, but it looks like the market has some cushion here now at highs, and it has Powell to focus on. So we'll see. But overall, keep watch on any of the vaccine stocks and some of those plays, as we'll even talk about it with the plays, getting a little bit interesting there, and anything that could stop this reopening or that reflation trade, that will be key. But it does look like it's having momentum now, so I hope you're ready. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got 4 different plays actually. In the first one, you're really going to be surprised, but I really like AMC coming into this week. So the reopening trade has been popular. A lot of the stocks went up. I even like some of the casino stocks. I am worried about this trade as it got a lot of momentum in premium today. So you don't want to get caught in anything if the momentum stops. That's the only thing holding me back. That's why I like this play too, because I already own it. But AMC, it has the meme ability, so that even ties into the whole stimulus check, but it's also a reopening trade, and I just like it in general for all of that. So going to be watching them this week. They're back up at $14, which I think is very, very key, because they only went up to like 19 or 20 bucks in the middle of all of that craziness. So the fact that they got there on their own now with some of these other factors, I like it a lot better than the GameStop one. I think this one has a lot more juice behind it. So I'm going to be riding that one out. The second play is going to be MSTR. We brought this one up yesterday. I still like it, but it is very, very expensive. And really, I only want to play this if Bitcoin goes crazy or if the markets get a boost. So the market's at all-time highs and then Bitcoin starts to shoot up. If you start to see some of that stimulus rush, or you see other stuff go crazy and this rip through highs continues, I think it could carry over. But you pretty much just saw Bitcoin drop today. It kind of watered down some of that momentum. So I want to watch MSTR. Like I said, they're expensive, but this could be a good one to catch a day trade on if you see Bitcoin moving throughout the day. That's kind of what I would even want to use it for myself. So that's the second play. The third play, I actually really like this play. Thankfully, we got our shares, but Airbnb. So I think this is a sleeper of the reopening trade, simply because it only went up 1.5% today, when a lot of the other travel stocks are even up as like 5-6%. A lot of the casinos closed around 4-6% as well too. So you can't forget that Airbnb really did suffer because of COVID, like 50-60% plus numbers. So I think they're going to get a boost. You could even say Uber as well too. But with Airbnb, the biggest risk is that it's just a fairly new company. It has that IPO, so there's already kind of a premium there, but I really like it. They're at good levels. I think they could benefit, and they're kind of lagging behind it all. So that's the third play. And then finally tying it into the vaccine and everything else, Johnson & Johnson. I think the one shot might turn in their favor if other stuff gets worse overseas. So their new one-shot virus, it's a little bit easier. It's not getting as much. Depending on how those other vaccines turn out and the rollout here even gets better, I think they might get a benefit, but they kind of gave up some of those gains earlier. They're kind of break even on the year, I'm pretty sure. So I think it's interesting, and the premiums are a little bit high. But those are going to be the main plays. As far as everything else, I didn't make any other plays today, but I am holding a lot of the other plays, like those HDs. Remember, we dropped 50% on them. I said this thing could make a run to 280. It did it honestly faster than I expected. Those leaps actually came back in value, and then those AALs started to get a boost a little bit. Again, this was an 8% trade. That's part of the reopening trade and all the stimulus and everything else. So those leaps went 50% on those January. So still holding those, riding those out. The Netflixes, they were interesting today. It was kind of positive, but you could see it today. Even though NASDAQ was the leader, not everything really got a boost. For most of the day, Netflix was actually down, and then right towards the end of the day, it got a lot of that other rally there with it. And you could even see how much the market really moved once some of the other tech names started to play along. So still holding those plays. A lot of people brought them up today. They thought they were going crazy. It was just the spreads on those. So be mindful of that, but watch them. Same thing, Boeing. They did very good, and despite the Dow closing up today, I'm sure the Dow would have been up a lot more, but they actually slipped. So they hit near 280, kind of sold off. I think it's just kind of slowing down some of that velocity. Kind of a needed break. Otherwise, it would have went crazy there. So premiums held up decently. Still going to be holding and watching that one. And then finally, Roblox did very, very good today. Did sell off pretty hard in the morning, and you could kind of see, despite it's a decent sized float, 200 million shares. So it actually does move a decent amount there, but they did about 20 million shares. And now that's assuming the whole float is traded. Again, now there's been a lot of back and forth, and you could see it kind of right there at our price. So I will be eyeing that and seeing how it plays out, as we still could add more, and I've been looking to. So So overall, this is just letting me know now what price. If for the most part, I'm assuming most of the shares have been traded, there is going to be some margin of error, and today was pretty volatile, but for the most part, ending right here at $70, this is kind of giving me an idea that we do have the market willing to at least pay this amount and how most of the shares are getting valued. So I do like that. Going to be watching them. They perform really, really good today, so we'll see how that plays out. But watch them. Watch Altria. We talked about those contracts. I got squeezed out. They went crazy, up 200% today, but Altria, another real winner. And again, you're seeing the market broaden. Even though the NASDAQ was the leader today, Altria was up 2.75, so this has just been on an absolute tear, and I think it's getting some steam. There's other weed stock news with New York and all that, so watch them. I really, really like them. GameStop got clapped today, and I don't think it was that bad, actually, because at the end of the day, you could even see here, they were one of those companies showing strength in the middle of last week, or the weeks before that, so this is kind of showing that broadening effect again, so keeping an eye on them coming into the stimulus checks and all that. Then watch the chip makers. They got a little bit of a boost today. You could even see Nvidia too. Remember, they had their earnings, but overall, they kind of came out of nowhere today, but the market did start to get a boost when they did, and they were showing a lot of strength earlier in the day, so watch them. Watch the Spotify. They caught a little bit of the later day rally, still in that other play, but we're still down like $3,000 or $4,000 on that other one, so we have to see the maneuver out of that. That one's going to expire in 4 days, so now we're really going to have to make a move soon, so hopefully the tide turns in our favor, but it's still a kind of a decent amount away, but the situation could get eased pretty decently, so we'll see. But watch them. Watch DraftKings. They were up for a little bit. I was surprised, and they eventually came down, but they dropped on news today that they did a bond offering. They issued company bonds, but they were convertible bonds that could be turned into equity, so it could potentially and most likely will have a dilutive effect. It's kind of like offering $1 billion worth of shares, so I was very surprised to see it go green in the middle of the day, but then eventually it sold off. So watch them, though. We'll see how the market takes it, but last time they did the offering, that really led to a bigger downturn, so we'll see how that one plays out. But watch them. And then finally, OCGN. This is one of those vaccine stocks. They just went crazy throughout the day. I'm surprised they closed red, but keep an eye on any of these names. Again, I like the Johnson & Johnson, obviously a lot better, more quality of a name, but they've had an interesting, like 1-2 year chart. You could kind of see they were way above their highs. They came down a little bit, so we will see how that plays out, but I like them related to the news. And then finally, good old TLT. This one was interesting. It chilled out a little bit, and even with Powell this week, I wouldn't expect too many moves. However, a lot of people were surprised this morning. You know, we were at a decent level on the market, but rates were at 1.6. So besides Powell, the real question is, like I said yesterday, what rate now on the 10-year does the market start to respond again? We asked that question today. A lot of you guys said 2%. So the market's feeling a little bit better about rates, but I'm sure we are going to find out very shortly. So I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to make your future self proud, baby. But the code loves you. I love you. I'm gonna see you in the morning. Let's go.